Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristen and I am starting something new for me. I just got done following along with 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life and Scrap Timber with Laura Alberts and the Scrappy Sisters, and I really enjoyed using sketches. And I'm making the process videos. So I've decided to try something a little different for me. Not completely different, but I decided to do something I probably will call flipping that sketch, because a lot of the sketches that I've done in the past, I have to have them work for me. So if I have a certain picture or pictures in mind to use and the sketch has vertical or horizontal and it's the opposite of what I have, I've just learned to kind of turn them, so, or flip them completely. But I also thought that maybe with this series, that I would also do some other things, like if the sketch has a circle, use a square or a triangle or a heart or something like that. So I'm gonna start off kind of simple with just a typical flip, and then see how experimental I can be. We'll see how this goes. So the first sketch that I'm gonna try is this one by Kelly Hollifield. I found it on Pinterest, and it's a Halloween sketch. Says www.papersecrets.net. It is 2 photos and a bunch of layering. There's like a cobweb and a spider up here on the top. So this is the sketch I'm going to work with, and I'm going to set that right there. In the future, maybe I will get them printed and have them sit here like I was doing in the end of 30 Days of Sketches. So the pictures that I'm going to work with are hiding under here somewhere. This is off to a good start, guys. Off to a good start. Here we go. All right, so these are my pictures. This is my dinner and my dessert and my husband on our anniversary, which was just a couple weeks ago. And so they are the proper direction or orientation for the sketch. And this is one of the day 18 from 30 Days of Sketches. And I did not really alter this much. I pretty much followed the sketch pretty close, but because this is from our anniversary, I want to stick with similar color patterns. I want to bring in the 2 alcohol ink pearls that I used, which I got for my anniversary. I want to bring in this shiny red paper and the white background. So that's why I wanted to share this layout with you, because this is where I will be pulling my color palette, kind of, because I like to not necessarily replicate or make a double layout, because it will be 3 pages, but I want this to be just kind of like an inspiration for the other 2 pages. So I will bring in some of the same colors or some of the same design or some of the same embellishments. So I just had that set over here for me for inspiration. I don't want it to be too far. So what I'm going to do with this sketch is turn it this way, because this is dessert. And nope, I'm telling you a fib. This is dessert, and this is my dinner. Oop, I got it backwards. So I want the pictures to be like this, because we had dinner first and then dessert. So I probably still have the pictures all messed up. So I'm going to turn it like this. And there will not be any spiders or cobwebs on my layout, but I want to stick with all these lovely layers. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different layers and different patterns in this. And of course the 2 photos. I will put some kind of an embellishment cluster up here, and then some journaling. Obviously with journaling, it's not going to be going straight up like that, so I will turn it in some form or fashion, or use some sentence strips from Tim Holtz, something along those lines. So like I said, in the future, I will print what sketches I want to work with. I literally just pulled this from Pinterest like 15 minutes ago. So I am really winging it. So let's see how this goes. We've got a sketch, we've got some pictures, we've got some inspiration, and I've got some of the same embellishments I used on my first layout. I've got my little bin with some of my hearts in it, and some papers, and a paper pad by Vicki Boutin, which is Art for Everyone. And I've got my inks, my alcohol pearls, and the Dylusions Shimmer spray and crushed grape. And I pulled some washi and some of the colors that I've been working with. So we're going to get all this together and see how it goes. So the first thing I did was trim down the picture of my plate. I did not want it to be as big as the other picture because it's just a plate of food. And while it is delicious, it's not as special as the picture of my husband and, of course, our cheesecake. So I cut that down a little bit smaller because in the sketch, it's smaller. And so I wanted to have that definition. So then I went through this Vicki Boutin Art for Everyone paper pad, and it doesn't seem like the logical choice because it's like more like browns and tans, and I'm looking for pinks and purples and reds, but there's tons of purple, well, not tons of purple, but I did find purple and pink shades and reds in this book, and I've used it before for a couple of layouts, but I just started using it. So I am making the banner that goes down the almost middle of the sketch, although it does not end up exactly in the middle of the sketch for me, just because I needed to move it so it would look right. But like I pretty much stuck super close to the sketch once I turned it on its side. So I picked out all the papers, cut them down into the measurements that I felt would be right, just based on eyeballing how I felt in comparison to the picture, how big my paper should be. And like I said in the beginning, there are 5 different papers, not including photo mats. And I had to use 2 different papers to mat my photos, which is what I'm doing now, is matting my photos. All of the paper on here came from this Vicki Boutin collection. I did not use any other papers at all, not even a solid. So everything came straight from that Vicki Boutin collection. And I really love the way that this layout turned out. I'm really excited about it. So I get everything matted down, and I put a piece of tape in the middle of it so that I'll be able to tuck everything where I need it to go. And that little green square tray is my little trash tray. I got it at the dollar store. It's in a little set of 5. There's 3 small ones like that, a longer one, and then one big one they sit in for a whole $1. And it's been fantastic. I also put little bits and pieces in there, and thanks to Laura Alberts, because I watched, she talks about doing that. So I get some double-sided tape down in the corners of some of these, but then every one of them gets a piece of double-sided tape in the middle, like I said, so that I can get it down and tuck things if I need to. So I'm going to place all of them down, see if they're going to fit and work correctly based on the size of my pictures and everything. And I am pretty pleased with how my eyeballing worked. So That heart paper that I cut, I just cut the bottom 2 inches from, maybe not even 2 inches, from it's like a rainbow of hearts. And the very bottom couple of lines are purple. So since I wanted to make sure to incorporate purple, and a lot of the other papers, it kind of gets covered up, I made sure to use the purple on that heart. So I get it all laid down, make sure that I'm going to like it, and I fiddle with this little orange piece at the top, because in the sketch, it is only seen, like a little corner of it is seen on the far right corner, upper corner. But I really wanted to have a little bit more than just that little corner. But I couldn't get it to work because that black banner is a little too short, which I will remedy in a little while. Spoiler alert. So I get all of that put down and then pick it all back up. And sometimes what I will do is I will take a picture of what my layout looks like when I'm happy with it, so that I can kind of lay it back down the right way. So I just picked that cut apart out that says love this, or it's a heart and it says this and it's an arrow pointing down. And I picked that out for my title. And then I'm going to fussy cut that floral instead of this circle that's on the bottom. Now that I've turned it, the bottom left corner, I decide I'm going to use this fussy cut. I'm going to fussy cut those flowers out and use that instead of a circle. Another little flip I'm doing. So I get it all on there and decide that if I like it and if it needs anything. And then after I get it all adjusted, I take it all off. So I think I took these papers off of this page, off of the white cardstock like 3 times. And I will say, this video is, I believe, 20 minutes long. Before I cut it down, it was like an hour. So, you're welcome. So I got out my alcohol pearls by Ranger, and the first one I use is purple, and it is actually called Villainous. And I put it down on my little dauber, and I am a cheapskate. So I take the purple and I line it on one side of my little dauber, and I just tilt my the handle over to that side. And then I put on the other side the alcohol pearl Enchanted, which is a pink. And I put that on the other side of the dauber and turn it and just tilt towards that way. So I'm putting them both on the same little white pad because I'm going to blend them a little, but also because I'm cheap. And I only have like so many of those and I haven't bought extras. So I'm trying to use just one for both colors. So I make this little L shape on the top and bottom. And then I skip away and dry it because when I first started laying them down, I realized they're still wet and I don't want that to be a problem. So I dried it with my heat tool for a little bit. And I laid that banner down so I could get a gauge for where everything needed to lay, and then realize it's just too short. So I recut it, and I only cut 1 inch off. So the banner itself from point to point is 11 inches. And that worked much better. I believe the other one was about 10. And that 1 inch made a big difference because I needed, the colors do not show in the V of the top and bottom of the banner. Like there's no paper layers showing through. And I don't want, I don't like the look of that. And so I wanted to make sure that it would work. So I get everything laid down again. And I want to make sure there's a good border of that greeny colored paper behind my plate picture because I love that paper. That's probably that and the hearts are probably my favorites in this paper pad. And sadly enough, they are on the back side of each other. That is the B side to the heart paper, which is the A side. And I just love both of them so much. And there's only 2 in there. And I've used parts of both of them. So And I bought this on clearance, so I'm pretty sure that I don't know if I can get another one of these paper pads or not, but I really have enjoyed working with them. They're really versatile. So I get all these layers in. I realize that bottom orange piece needs to be tucked in a little bit more. So I pulled that up, and pardon for the sniffles. Got a sinus yuck going on. So I get that tucked in a little bit more. I want it to come down to where the alcohol pearl inks are, but I don't want it to be too far down because I don't want it to be in that banner, and I also don't want to take up too much of that lovely alcohol ink swiping that I did. So I get everything lined up again and lay it down, and I'm really enjoying all the different colors. Like, I'm looking at this layout right now in front of me, and it is so full of color. And it's just, I really, really like it. I'm really excited. So I get these tucked in, and I am going to go back later, mostly off of screen or off of the camera, and put tape or glue, depending on if it's over the mixed media or not, on every corner and side of the paper. If it's on the mixed media, I definitely like to use glue. It will hold better. So I get that floral under there, and the first time I put it down, it didn't fit right, and I was going to have to adjust. And when I put it down this time, it went straight where I wanted it and fit perfect. So I got that cut apart that said love this, and I ended up fussy cutting it because it was too big and it was covering more of the picture than I wanted. So I fussy cut it out and then popped it up on foam, just fun foam from Walmart. Then I pull out some Stick-a-bilities stickers that I use some of these on my other layout, and they don't stand out a lot, and I did that on purpose. I wanted that texture, and the flower up on the top of the banner is definitely visible, especially in person. And the little arrow with the heart pointing at my husband is also visible, but I didn't want it to be like, look at me, look at me. It was more, just a gentle guide to look at my husband. So the way that the love this arrow is pointing down, it was pointing down saying it loves my fussy cutting. And so I added that Carolee's creation red sticker that says, where there is love, there is life. So it's kind of like saying I love that, since it wasn't going to fit over my picture of my food or of my husband and our cheesecake. So I add some little this and that's, and this is a little paper clip that I'm adding now. It's got a heart on it, and that heart is the exact same kind that I used, minus the paper clip, on the other layout. So now I am just putting a little double-sided tape down. I have added some other stickers, one that says sweet, right next to the cheesecake, and my husband, I guess. And one that says dreaming, and those all came from that Adorn It Carolee's Creations. And put all that down, added a few little red hearts in the bottom corner, bottom right corner. And then I get out my my Dylusions Ranger Shimmer Spray in crushed grape. And I put 3 little dots in the bottom right, 3 in the top right, and then one of them smears, so I just smear them all. That's just the way I am. If I make a boo-boo, then I just, fix it somehow. And I will say later, I bump it with my arm and the whole thing smears, so I just smeared them all, so they're like 3 little smear spots in those corners. It still looks fantastic in my opinion. So, and now I am going to add some Tim Holtz. This is the metallics, and it says always and forever. One of them says love you, and one says this is my happy place. And all 3 of those are perfect. I put those over to the left instead of down in the bottom right where the sketch calls for the journaling, because they don't fit there, and this big red space is perfect. Plus, it's where the title was in the original sketch, and I moved the title up to the corner. So that is going to do it for this layout. I love, love, love it. going to show you some close-ups. I hope you all will come back and join me for some more flipping the sketch, and we'll see how this whole thing goes. So I hope you all have a great night and a great weekend, and I hope you get a chance to do something you love with someone you love. Happy scrapping.